Okay. Usually I have a partner here with me. I'm all alone. Anyways, this is.
Get a volunteer.
What?
You can get a volunteer next to
Oh,
you.
okay. This Seder. Okay, so this is. I'm not alone. I'm not alone, and not only that. I'm with all of you. Come, Shalamis, come sit down, take some breakfast. Okay, so anyways, I think today it's a very momentous day. When you spend 10 years working on something, it's very significant to complete it and to think about everything that we've gained from the study. Anyways, I brought a visual, it's a heavy visual, okay, just so you understand. This is what we've learned over the last 10 years. That's a lot of 1,424 pages of the laws of Shabbos.
When we began it?
I'm guessing it was still in my house. Yeah, I'm guessing really exactly when, but I know it was like within the first year or so. So, anyways, okay, so I want to begin by just mentioning the several mitzvahs that relate to Shabbos. So we have the positive mitzvah, which is Yom Hashvi Tishbos. Okay, on the seventh day, you should rest. What does it mean to rest? We'll find out. You could guess. Okay, and then there's the prohibiting mitzvah. I don't like to say negative mitzvah. They're all wonderful and positive, but it is Lo ata aseh kol malacha. You should not do any malacha. So here's an interesting question. Like there are 12 places where the word malacha is mentioned in Torah, and we do not have a definition for it anywhere. How do we know what malacha is? How do we know exactly what do we have to do to be Shomer Shabbos? What do we have to do to lishbos? How do we know what to do? So the rabbis we learn this from the Gemara, that every single place in Tanakh, in Chumash, every place in Chumash where the Mishkan is mentioned, there's always Shmir Shabbos next to it. Not every place where it says Shomer Shabbos is the Mishkan, but every place where there's a Mishkan and the word Malacha is nearby. And what they understand from that is that Malacha, that the Malachos of Shabbos, the activities that we're not supposed to be doing, comes from the construction of the Mishkan. And what they did is they then very carefully analyzed and looked at every single process, every single aspect of the construction of the Mishkan. And then they took those acts, those creative, productive acts, and determined that those were the Malachos. And I'm going to do a very quick review of them, because you might have forgotten something in 10 years. But it's I'm going to just mention the order. So there are actually 4 different categories. They're called orders. And here, grab a chair. I have to watch out for you. Okay. So first we have the order of the bread. So these are all the agricultural malachos. So it starts with plowing, preparing the ground and planting, and then harvesting and winnowing, and all the way through kneading and then baking. Okay, so that's the order of the breads. And there's actually a machlokes whether this is talking about between Rashi and I think Chai Gaon, whether this is talking about whether the malachos in general are only about the construction of the Mishkan, or if it also, which Rashi says that's what it means, and it's talking about preparing growing dyes, which are then used for dyeing the materials to make the tapestries and everything else. And the other side is no, it also is for the ongoing use of the Mishkan, the ongoing service in the Mishkan, and it refers to the lechem hapanim.
The things that were done in the Mishkan that weren't beloved, like Easter didn't apply to the Mishkan itself.
It did. Can't be.
They made sure, but no.
That's okay. That you're right, but in terms of the construction of the Mishkan, it absolutely did. It absolutely did.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, how could you say that also the
this is a good. I actually asked that question to Rabbi Paikin and didn't get an answer, so that's a very good question. So like how is it that we have all these isurim, all these malachos, but on Shabbos we do karbanos? Okay, so you can't do shchita, you can't do tzod, you can't do, so how is that possible? Well, why does the Kohen Gadol wear Shabbos? I mean, it just seems, it's one of those questions which I have not found the answer to. Okay, the second.
I think there's enough innate Kedusha at the spot where it is being done that it counterbalances the energy effects of Shabbos.
Okay, I don't know what that means, energy. Okay, all right. So the second, yeah, this is like my inner litvak has come out. Okay, so the next thing is the order of garments, right? So we know that material was used for tapestries and the clothes of the Kohen Gadol. So here we have the whole series of malachos that relate to creating some kind of material, cloth, fabric. Again, it starts with gozes, shearing a sheep and cleaning it and combing it and dyeing it and spinning it and weaving it and finally forming it into whatever shape it's supposed to be. That's the order of garments. The third area is the order of hides. And because we had animal hides that were used to cover the Mishkan. So we have sewed, trapping and shchita and, then tanning it and, again, so until it gets to the form that it was usable in the Mishkan. So that is the order of hides. And then finally, we have the order of construction. It is kind of everything else. So we have boneh, we have koseh, writing and building and demolishing, and your favorite makom patish, the finer hammer blow. And of course, our beloved hotzah, which I think we've been learning for 9 months or something like that, carrying. So that's like the essential. That's the malachos. Okay, so it came with a book. I copied it. It's a big piece of paper. Actually, they had a printing error, so they just kind of included it for everybody. So one of the things that we notice about the laws of Shabbos, there are not very many mitzvos where we get a reason for why we do that. Like, why do you? Torah doesn't tell us why you should take a lulav and esrog. It doesn't tell us why we have to, honor our parents. It doesn't tell us many things. There's no reason for it, and people speculate, or people, they try and come up with some understanding of what it means, what it's for, what it's supposed to accomplish. But it does not come from the Torah, as opposed to the laws of Shabbos, where there are actually 3 reasons that are given in the Torah why we have Shabbos and why we keep Shabbos. So I'm gonna go over them. Okay, so we begin with from the Saraya of Divros in Parshas Yisro, which begins with Zacharas Yom HaShabbos L'Kadsho. So remember the Shabbos day and keep it holy. Sheishes Yamin Ta'avod V'Yasisa Kol Malachtecha. So 6 days you should work. Working is good, and you should do all of your malachtecha, all of your creative, productive work. The Yom HaShvi is Shabbos, L'Adonai Elohecha, Lo Saseh Kol Malacha, Ata Ubincha V'Techa Avdecha V'Yamascha V'Hemtecha V'Gercha Asher B'Yisharecha. On the 7th day, you rest. It's the Shabbos for Hashem, and you should not do any malacha. You or your children or your servants, slaves, your animals, and the stranger or the convert who lives among you. Ki sheshet yamim asa Hashem es hashamayim v'es haaretz es hayam v'es kol asher bam. Okay, because for 6 days Hashem made the heavens and the earth, and on the the ocean and everything that's in it. The Yanach Bayom Hashvi, and he rested on the 7th day. Al Kain Be'erach Adonai es Yom Shabbos V'Kadshehu, and therefore Hashem made the 7th day holy. So that's the first reason. And when you keep Shabbos, you're acknowledging that Hashem is the master of the world. Hashem created everything. Hashem, everything exists because of Hashem. And when you say Kiddush, or when you don't tear toilet paper or whatever it is, you're saying that I acknowledge that Hashem is the master of the world. Okay, the second reason that's given comes from the second time that the the second set of Aseres Dibros, which is in Parshas V'Eschanan, and it says Shamoret es Yom HaShabbos l'kadsho. So you should keep Shabbos and to make it holy. Kasher tiva Hashem elokecha, as Hashem commanded you. Sheish shamim tavod v'asisa kamalachtecha, 6 days work. Okay, and then don't do any malacha. Yom hashvi Shabbos l'Adonai l'Hashem elokecha. Lo taseh kamalacha ata, again, ata uvincha v'techa avdecha v'yamascha v'shorcha v'chamorcha v'pal v'hemtecha v'gercha asher b'sharecha. Okay, and also, and on the seventh day you rest, that it's a Shabbos for Hashem, and you shouldn't do any malacha, either you or your servants or your ox or your donkey or any of your animals, again, the non-Jew who lives among you. Laman yanuach abdecha v'yamascha kemocha. In order, this is what this paragraph ends with. In order that your slave should rest, like you. So, and then it goes on to say, "V'zacharta ki eved hayisa be'eretz Mitzrayim, v'yotzicha ad Hashem elokecha misham, b'yad chazaka zro netuya, al kein tziva Hashem elokecha la'asos es yom haShabbos." Okay, so you should remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and Hashem took you out from there with an outstretched, with strength, and with an outstretched arm, with miracles, with great events, and because of that, he commanded us to make this day Shabbos. So that's the second reason. We keep Shabbos because we're acknowledging that Hashem took us out of Egypt, and He made us, and He gave, and just like we were forced to be slaves, and then Hashem saved us and brought us out of Mitzrayim. So we should let the people around us also have the opportunity to rest. So when you rest, when you don't do malacha, you're acknowledging that this is what Hashem did for us. And we say this in Kiddush. Okay, so then the third point is that this comes from Parshas Kisisa. Yomer Hashem el Moshe lemor, v'yata daber b'nei Yisrael lemor, ach eshabsosai tishma'u ki osi beini uvein b'neichem l'dorasechem l'das ki ani Hashem amekdishchem. Okay, so you should so tell b'nei Yisrael and say to them, my Shabbos says you should keep, because it is an oath, it is a sign. Okay, there's not very many things in all of Torah. I think there's only 2 other things that are called an oath. Is that correct? Okay, I think tefillin and bris milah, the only other things that are called oath. But you see that it's like an essential part of the definition of who a Jew is. An oath is a very significant thing. So it's a sign between me and you for all the generations to know that I am Hashem who made you holy. Ushamartem es Shabbos ki kadosh ki lachem, and you should keep the Shabbos because it is holy to you. So not only Hashem told us that He's the master of the world, and not only Hashem told us that He made us His nation, but Hashem also is telling us that we have a special mission. We have a job. He put us into this world to serve Him in a particular way, different than any other nation. And again, when you're observing Shabbos, you acknowledge these facts. You know, it's not just like a day off from work, right? It's not like, oh, I'll just kick back, and it's work. It's work. I mean, these ideas are supposed to inform our practice and our activity on Shabbos. These ideas are supposed to be somehow I don't know, like an incentive to make this day special. You know that when you light Shabbos candles, you feel it. You feel it. It's like this quiet descent. But all the things that we do on Shabbos, all the things that we say Kiddush, and we eat big meals, nice meals, good food. We daven, we go to shul, we learn Torah, we take a nap, we do all these very nice things, and all of these things are for the purpose, not just for the purpose of enjoying ourselves. We'll talk about that a little more later, but they're for the purpose of focusing our brain in a particular way to remind ourselves, why are we keeping Shabbos? What does it say about keeping Shabbos? So Zalman Nehemiah Goldberg, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, said that when the Torah gives you a reason for something, for a mitzvah, it's to tell you that everything related to that mitzvah is to accomplish the goal of the mitzvah. So all the things that I just said, all the things that we do, is to accomplish the goal of the mitzvos, which is the three things that I mentioned. Now I want to just look at one particular aspect and just to illustrate a point. So I want to look at the carbon musaf, which we don't do it anymore, but we daven musaf, and it is we will be doing it again soon in Meretz Hashem. So what is the carbon musaf? It's you bring 2 sheep, you bring a meal offering, and you bring a libation, a wine offering. And the sheep, 2 sheep.
It's not you, it's like, and one corban to the whole on the throat.
Correct. Okay, so the chinuch, not per person. No, I'm sorry. No, in the base of Mikdash or in the Mishkan, they would bring this carbon. This is the nation's. Sorry, I wasn't clear. The nation's sacrifice on that day, and every one of the chagim has a musaf, right? So the chinuch says that this actually creates a model for the greatness and the kedusha of Shabbos. And it's not a very big offering. I mean, like compare it to Sukkot, 70 bulls. Now that's an offering, right? The little shepselah, they come and they're, this is what's to represent the magnitude of Shabbos, centrality of Shabbos to our lives. So, and actually the Dasikanim kind of repeats the same idea. They he says, not only is it for greatness, but it's also perfect for Shabbos. Perfect for Shabbos. So the Maharal also makes the same point. It's not such a big offering. It's not so much that we're offering for this, very important day of the week, but it's perfect for Shabbos. So he brings a medrash to sort of illustrate the point, and he says that the Shabbos came to Hashem. Shabbos had a little kitru with Hashem, like a little complaint, a little issue with Hashem. And he says, and Shabbos said, Musaf, this is it, like 2 little sheep, that's it. So Hashem responds to him and says, no, this is perfect for you. This is exactly what is to be for you. And he says that the 2 sheep is perfect. And it's you, because what's the essence of Shabbos? Shabbos is a doubling. Shabbos is 2 of everything. We have many, many examples of 2 in Shabbos. So I'll give you a few examples. So though we have Lechem Mishnah, right? 2 challahs, right? Why? And it comes from man, because we were told to collect a double portion before Shabbos so that we would have everything that we need on Shabbos. Okay, we also have in the 10 Commandments, there's 2 sets of 10 Commandments, right? And the words are not identical. And of course, the most glaring difference is one place it says Shamor, and the other place it says Zachor. So, like, how did that happen? Like, how do you put that together? Well, Hashem managed to put that together. In Yisro, Saraya of Tzfat in Yisro, it says Zachor es Yom HaShabbos, and in the Eschanan it says Shamor es Yom HaShabbos. So there, okay, but
It says that it was said at the same time. I'm sorry,
okay, so how is it possible that both of those words exist? How does it? Well, Hashem, what can't Hashem do? Hashem miraculously was able to say the two words in the same instance, right? It says, "B'dibur ached ne'amru." In one word, it was said. Hashem. So that's again this idea of doubling. Okay, we also have the idea of kavod and oneg Shabbos. Kavod Shabbos, oneg Shabbos. And kavod Shabbos, like what do? You buy the best food and you're planning for Shabbos, like starting on Monday, and I'm going to buy this. I'm going to do, okay, Tuesday maybe. You clean your house and you have the nicest clothes and you set your table with most beautiful dishes and everything is to be nice. And corresponding almost the degree that you put into kavod, honoring Shabbos, the result is oneg Shabbos, is the pleasure of Shabbos. The joy that you get from Shabbos there's a connection. How much, like I can cut my cucumbers on Shabbos, but if I cut them before, I don't have to be worried about doing that on Shabbos. So the more that you do before Shabbos in honor of Shabbos, the more pleasure and joy that you get from Shabbos. And we're supposed to enjoy Shabbos. Like that's really part of it. So all these instances of one more instance of doubling on the Shir Shel Yom. So we say every day we say Shir Shel Yom, and on Shabbos we say Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbos. There's two words, Mizmor and Shir. It's a doubling of language, right? Two types of songs, two songs. Oh, okay, very good. Neshama Yetera. I think if you thought about it, you could find like more things like that. Two shoes. No. Neshama Yisera. Neshama Yisera. I'm just translating it into Hebrew. Okay, so there are other examples of this doubling, but the Maharal tells us that this doubling of Shabbos is to actually promote, to help us accomplish the ideas, the goals of Shabbos that we laid out, and that is that let me just make sure I don't forget any of them. That acknowledging the goals of acknowledging that Hashem is the master of the world, that He has chosen as His people, and that He's given us a special mission in the world. Okay, and I think another idea of this duality, another idea of this kind of doubling, is that you take something that's physical, right, and you transform it into something that's spiritual, right? Like a tablecloth is a tablecloth, except when it's under your beautiful silver and your beautiful dishes, and it becomes a special thing. We say kiddush over wine. I mean, Noach took wine, and it led to his degradation, right? We take wine and it becomes something that's holy and special and transformative. Challah, bread, is like the lowest, the simplest. What?
The bread has to double for you.
Oh, very good, very good. Nice. She said the bread has to double before you can use it. Okay, so so we take this very simple food, the simplest of all foods, and then it becomes but it becomes the basis. It establishes the meal, right? And we start every single meal on Shabbos with 2 loaves of bread. So the goal of Shabbos is really to come closer to Hashem and recognize who He is by accomplishing the goals that He has set out for us, explicitly set out for us what exactly it is that we're supposed to do. So that's the introduction, because we're actually going to finish the study of the Lamitet Malachos. I have to admit that it's not always the easiest thing in the world to teach this stuff, and I would imagine that it's not always the easiest thing to learn it. Like, really, you can't spit on the ground outside a Eruv in a Rishus HaRabim. It's a little tight. It's a little tough. There's all these seem to be picky-yun true. Hashem really cares about whether I'm doing such a thing. Hashem, it really matters to Hashem whether I put, salt on my cucumbers before or after I put on the oil. I mean, you can't put salt directly onto cucumbers without any other dressing. Does Hashem really care? Does it really matter? So, there's this sort of famous mashal about, this guy is driving through the desert in this beautiful, expensive new car with the top down, and the whole world, the whole desert is empty as far as the eye could see, and he's zipping along, and it's, all beautiful and wonderful, and then suddenly, put, the car. Okay, so he knows his way around. He opens up the trunk, and he sees, pretty simple. There's a hose. Just attach the hose to the thing, and then you put the thing, and then you put in the screw, which is how it became detached to be. Well, 10,000 maybe pieces in a car. How many thousands of pieces go to make the screw is missing. The little tiny, insignificant, picky-yun detail is missing, and the guy's stuck in the desert, in the middle of the desert, with nobody around. Okay, so small is small, right? You can make the same thing, like you're writing code. One little, on instead of off. Or what is it?
Yeah, instead of one.
Instead of one. Okay, the whole world changes. So
the pilot is off 1 degree.
Yeah.
Every tiny degree in his flight path.
Right.
Goes way off.
Right, and a iron dome. It's the accuracy counts, exactitude counts. Not only that, the Shmirsha. Did you want to say that?
Not really, I just want to say quick finish, but it's a very hard topic to teach, and Judy did an amazing job.
Okay, so I also so that we understand the significance of the Malachos, the Lamitet Malachos. That is the line. It's significant halachically, right? If a person is not Shomer Shabbos, if a person doesn't say, not that you don't make mistakes, everybody, hopefully now that we've all learned this, will make less mistakes. But if in your heart you accept upon ourselves the old Malchus Shamayim, we accept upon ourselves the obligation to observe, to not do the Malachos, but if a person does not, so they're not a reliable witness. You cannot trust them in court. They can't establish a new moon. You can't trust their kashrus. You go into a restaurant. You say, "Do you have a tuda?" And they say, "Everything here is kosher except we're open on Shabbat." You got nothing. There's nothing. Bye. Even there are those who have the opinion that drinking wine that's been touched by somebody who's not Shomer Shabbos, that they are considered like non-Jews in that issue and other issues. Their halacha is like a non-Jew. A Jew who does not accept upon them. So this is pretty essential to who we are and to what we are. And
the restaurant was open on Shabbos, they didn't take money. They said everybody free and
maybe.
Didn't hear.
I mean, the place like you go to a hotel dining room, right? So you're not paid for it. So, yeah, that's right. That's really, it depends if there's a mashkiach. It depends on a lot of things. So I think if you put it all together, Hashem created the absolute perfect system for the observance, for creating in a certain environment, a certain feeling, a certain way of being. The perfect system for observing Shabbos, to create a feeling for us and growth for us that will hopefully spill off until everything else, but will influence other people and hopefully transform us into what we're supposed to be and to follow the goals that he's established in his mitzvos. And if you want to add to this, the rabbis, all the D'Rabbanan, only D'Rabbanan, they took what was the basis of the Chumash, and they formed it and they shaped it and they modified it in such a way that it became far more meaningful, far more complete than, like the famous, like, why can't you tell a not, you don't go to work, and why can't you tell a non-Jew to, like, you're working in the shop, and and he's like, okay, now write that there. No, write that there. No, not like that. Let me take the pen. Whoops. Whoops. I mean, the Chazal they were very smart. I mean, like, that's like an understatement, but I mean, they understood people. They understood and they helped to create this system that we know today, and the Shabbos that we know today, and added immeasurably to our lives. So, okay, this is it. This is the last section, page 1424.
Something, so what I said, like this good idea, like what something remember when we do it, sometimes we get bummed, we are not doing it. Just give Hashem to the kids.
Very good.
It has to be that. Just think about for a moment, Hashem, because Hashem has to be not give.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very good point. Okay, so our topic is carrying in a backyard when the gate is wide open. Okay, so this is a situation basically where somebody has pretty much a private A-roof, right? You have your house is not within a citywide A-roof, and you're creating an A-roof in your backyard. Okay, with you build a fence, or you put up some kind of partition. So the question is, if there is an opening in this gate, can you then carry within this enclosed space? And so, first of all, yes, you can. Like, the assumption is that houses are made with doors and windows, so this space is also made with doors and windows. And the expectation is that you will go in and you'll go out. But what if it's opened there, like, more than 10 amos, like 17, 18 feet? Okay, would you be allowed to carry in that space? And the answer is no, because that's no longer an opening. That's not a door. That's not a, that's not a window. That's a broken, that's an invalid wall. And in that case, you would not be allowed to, you would be not allowed to carry in that area. But the good news is that you could close it. And the reason why you can close it is because doors and windows are made to be opened and closed. So it's not makom patish. You're not, creating anything new. So there's one of these things on rollers, and you can just pull it shut, and you would then be allowed to carry into that space. Now, first of all, the book that we've been using is called the Malachos, appropriate enough, by Rav David Ribiat. So we express our gratitude to him for providing us with a very clear, orderly explication of the Malachos. And thank you all for so patiently listening. Our little L'chaim, let's go to the death. And I just want to bless everybody that your study all these years adds measurably to your experience of Shabbos. You know, the Vilna Gaon says that if you don't learn the laws of Shabbos, guaranteed you're going to make a mistake. Okay, I can't tell you how. What? I can't tell how many times people have come up to me, people have been religious their whole lives, never heard that before, didn't know. Okay, so everybody, hopefully everybody's Shabbos will be more perfect, more exact, richer, closer to fulfilling Hashem's goals and wishes for us. And amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Okay, Devorah made this beautiful cake. Thank you very much to Devorah making the lamed cake. The lamed cake.
Say one thing.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday. Many birthday. Fellowship, bless you and your husband.
That this amazing group of women makes such a beautiful spread. And this week it was even more absolutely amazing. There was the shefa, everything was delicious.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And thank you for your coming. I requested from Judy, wow, a little bit of wine and it's good. Here's a little more left that's clean. So, we know from the Svarim, we know from Dvar, from Beit Knesset that when we need something, what we have to do, we have to daven for it, right? And afterwards, what do we have to do? We have to thank Hashem. So a couple of weeks ago, I gave the Dvar Torah, and one of the things I talked about was that the Chayelet, the hostage that I was davening for, Daniela Gilboa.
Wow.
Is out now.
This is my my
Really?
yes.
Wow.
I lit candles for every Shabbos and pray for her
Okay.
every Shabbos.
Okay, so the point being is that we daven for things and afterwards we thank Hashem for it. And what if not, so why, what does this have to do with anything? It's the power of Shabbos. This is what we've been doing. We've been lighting candles for Shabbos for her. So to thank Hashem for Daniela's release and for everybody else's release, I want everybody to take one of these, also in memory, not memory, in celebration of this incredible siyum, which is a siyum to me is very, how many of us have started something and didn't finish it? You know, but the fact that Judy over
10 years later.
yeah, so anyway, so this is, so I want everyone to take one home. It has the brachas for candle lighting, and it also, and for hafashas kala, and in the back, this is something that people take, many Sfarim talk about, it's called Mizmor Lesoda. Just a short thing to say thank you to Hashem. And when you say thank you, Hashem, Hashem says, Oh, yeah? You're sitting for that. I'm gonna give you more things to thank. So mazel tov to Judy and mazel tov to all of us. And we should just have orjuter tov.
I would just like to add one thing since you mentioned about the hostages. So I also took on, there's a organization called Nation on Pause, right? And they asked me to take something on.
Take one.
So I took on learning 2 Hilchos Shabbos every week for Nama Bas Hayalet.
Wow.
I just want to say, the heart is torn. The heart is torn
Right.
because it's so Todah for all of them.
Right.
And the Mechavlim should just be killed immediately. They should get to the destination. And God Almighty should just help us be strong against